You know that bizarre feeling you get when you're just scrolling through the news, reading these glowing, rosy headlines about how incredibly wealthy the country is right now, and then you open up your own banking app. You look at your actual, lived financial reality, and you just think, wait a minute, who are these people they're talking about? Because it certainly isn't me. Well, let's dive into this because what we're about to uncover is literally going to change the way you look at your own finances entirely.
So here's the number that probably triggers that late-night financial anxiety. $1.2 million. You see the headlines claiming the average Canadian household is now worth over 1.2 million loonies. Picture this, it's 11:47 at night, you're sitting on the edge of your bed, your phone is glowing in the dark, and you just read this figure. You refresh your investment account, not because anything has actually changed since midnight, obviously, but because this staggering headline makes you feel like you've somehow completely missed the boat.
And that leads us directly to this exact, very quiet, very uncomfortable question. If the country is so wealthy, why do I feel like I'm drowning in shallow water? It's a question so many of us are asking ourselves right now. And the honest answer? You're being hosed by a math problem. We're going to peel back this really dangerous mathematical illusion because you need to understand that you aren't necessarily failing, you're just experiencing the real Canadian economy.
Let's get into section 1, the millionaire household myth.
This right here is the reality for so many folks. You're staring at $3,200 in your checking account. Maybe you have a tax-free savings account, a TFSA, that you just haven't been able to touch in months. You're staring at a massive Loblaws grocery receipt, wondering why on earth 2 basic bags of food just cost you $180. And yet, the news is telling you that you're supposedly part of this demographic of millionaires. The disconnect is absolutely staggering.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why that disconnect exists. Basically, in statistics, the mean, or the average, is a liar. Think of it this way. If you put one single billionaire into a room with 99 people earning minimum wage, the mathematical average person in that room is a millionaire. Boom. But that doesn't change the fact that 99 people in that room are still struggling to make rent. The average is completely distorted by the extremes at the very, very top. What we actually need to look at is the median, the person standing exactly in the middle of the line. So the crucial takeaway here is this. When the news says the average household is worth 1.2 million, they are factoring in the absolute top tier of wealth. The top 20% of households hold nearly 66% of the nation's wealth. They're counting the sprawling luxury cottages in Muskoka. They're counting the 8-figure investment portfolios of the top 1%. All of that massive, highly concentrated wealth pulls the headline number way, way up, leaving the rest of us just scratching our heads wondering where our share went.
And you can see the massive cliff here. Look at the sheer difference. You have that fake, inflated average of $1.2 million. But then you have the median, the actual middle of the pack for a Canadian household going into 2026. It's closer to $540,000. That is the household next door. The massive gap between those two numbers, that is exactly where your financial anxiety lives.
Moving right along to section 2,
The housing wealth illusion.
So brace yourselves, because even that $540,000 median is mostly a mirage. Statistics Canada data proves that nearly half of all our household wealth is locked inside one single thing, the principal residence. Fully 50% of the wealth keeping that median number propped up is trapped in the equity of our homes.
Which brings us to this incredibly accurate, if slightly depressing phrase, asset-rich and cash-poor. You might be a quote-unquote millionaire on paper because your detached home in Mississauga or Langley tripled in value over the last decade, but you can't eat your kitchen. You can't slice off a piece of your front door to pay the hydro bill. When your wealth is entirely tied up in the roof over your head, it really isn't actually helping you live your day-to-day life.
Strip away the house, and the median Canadian net worth collapses by more than half. That's exactly why you can be technically wealthy on paper, but still find yourself sitting at the kitchen table on a random Tuesday night, absolutely sweating a $6,000 surprise furnace repair because your actual liquid bank account is completely empty. That is what a collapsed liquid net worth feels like.
Now for section 3, your silent roommate.
I just want to let this number sink in for a second. 177%. This is our household debt-to-income ratio, and it is the absolute highest in the entire G7. No joke. We are carrying an immense, almost suffocating amount of financial baggage as a nation. I like to call this the silent roommate. This is the interest you're paying every single month. This roommate never makes a sound, they definitely never take out the trash, but they take a massive slice of your paycheck before you even get a chance to touch it. They're the reason you feel like you're running incredibly hard on a treadmill,
burning all this energy just to stay in the exact same place.
The harsh reality of that 177% figure means that for every single dollar you take home after the CRA gets their cut, the average household owes $1.77. It's the massive mortgages we took on just to squeeze into the housing market. It's the lingering student loans. It's those $900 a month truck payments. These are the everyday debt traps that just eat away at your liquid cash, making it feel almost impossible to get ahead.
But we're not going to leave it there. Your financial firewall.
Okay, the very first thing you need to do is completely change your metric for success. Seriously, stop measuring your wealth by the number on your home appraisal and start measuring it by the gap. The gap is simply the distance between what you earn and what you spend. This is literally the only number that truly matters when you're trying to build real, sustainable wealth.
Look, wealth in this country isn't usually built by a magic raise or scratching a winning lottery ticket. It's built by boring, stubborn consistency. Step 1. Shrink your lifestyle to free up cash. Step 2. Use that cash to expand your gap. And Step 3. Relentlessly feed your TFSA or your investment accounts. You need to push your capital into the market until your money finally starts earning its own money. The first 100,000, it's a total slog, it's difficult for sure. But after that, the engine actually starts to build itself. And your immediate goal, your primary target right now, is this number, $20,000. This is your financial firewall. You need to build a $20,000 liquid reserve.
Why? Because $20,000 is a passport. It's the exact amount of money that stops a bad week from becoming a complete financial catastrophe. It is the literal difference between sleeping soundly through the night when the transmission on your car suddenly dies versus staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., panicking, and running what I call trapped animal math in your head trying to figure out how to survive. The quote-unquote average Canadian is carrying a massive mortgage, a razor-thin liquid reserve, and is one bad week away from disaster. You absolutely need this passport.
Which leaves us with this final, critical thought to wrap up our explainer today. We've peeled back the illusion of the brochure version of Canada. You know the real math now. So the question is, will you let the average continue to make you feel like a failure while you just stay a statistic? Or will you take control of the gap and build your firewall today? The choice is entirely yours. Keep learning, keep building, and I will see you in the next explainer.